Okay, this is a video on how to remove your power supply out of your computer. First thing you need to know is over here is 4 screws. And you need to remove those screws, but before you do that you need to make sure your power is unplugged and your power supply is on off. And so it's unplugged and it's on off. So we take these 4 screws out. Just like that. Then you want to start unplugging things. So we're going to unplug this cable. This is a P1 20+4 pin. And it plugs into your motherboard. Because it's a 20+4, you can use this on a 20 pin motherboard. So since mine's a 24 pin, I just put these together and it works like that. Then you want to unplug your 4 pin. This is a 4 pin 12 volt power connector that connects to the motherboard for extra power for your processor. That's what that one's for. That took care of our plugs on the motherboard itself. So now we're going to unplug our devices. This is a 4 pin Molex plug that plugs into IDE drives. This is a floppy drive plug that plugs into your floppy drive disk. These are SATA plugs that plug into my SATA drives. And then that unplugs all of my devices, but I have some other connectors for this power supply. This is an 8 pin plug or power connector that plugs into video cards, high-end video cards for the PCIe, which is PCI Express times 16 plug, and it gives your video card extra power. That's what that is. I don't have one in here, so it's not plugged in. So there you have it. That is removing your power supply. So it's completely out now. So now we're going to put it all back in. That's the joy of life. So we've got the power supply back in there. This plug we don't use. We're going to put it over there because you want to do this in an organized fashion. So we want to straighten out all of our cables since I just messed them all up. So they're kind of plugged in nice and neat. So these are my SATA drives, and I have 2 SATA devices in this computer. So we're going to plug them in, and they plug in right over here. And they go a certain direction. There's a little L shaped right there, and you've got to plug them in the right direction. So those are plugged in. This is an extra one, and we're going to tuck it down under here to get it out of the way. Okay, this is the floppy. The floppy drive plug-in actually goes a certain way because it has a flat piece that slides into here. So we're going to plug it in. There you go. There's that one. And these are extra cables that we're not going to use, so we're going to neatly tuck them in. The best way to do your extra cable is to get some zip ties and plug them, tie them up after you get everything plugged in. These are my 4 pin Molex, and they've got an angle on each end. You can only plug them in a certain way. If you try to do it backwards, it's going to be really hard and things aren't going to work right. So you always want to look at your plug and make sure that you're plugged in the right way. And I actually have 2 IDE drives in here to plug these into. So, and you make sure everything is nice and secure on there so you don't have to crack the case and open it up again. So now that we have those plugged in, we're going to plug in our power for our motherboard. Now this is the 20 pin with the extra 4 pin. So to plug those in, I'll just put them together, and it can only go a certain way because these ends are all angled and cut just right. So that's how you've got to put it in, and it has this little clip right here that holds it on. So it goes down here in this 24 pin plug. I'm going to start by putting the 4 pins in kind of first, and then sliding the 20 pins in right behind it and making them go down tight together. So that's secure. This is my 4 pin power plug, 12 volt power plug that gives you extra power to your processor. And it goes right here. It has the same clip like the 20 pin, 24 pin. And you just plug it in there. And voila. It's all plugged in there. Then you want to put your screws back in. This power supply has to be kind of held up to get this done, so we can do it, and hopefully don't take very long. And you put these 4 screws in, and then you'll be done. You gotta line all your holes up. Now I don't torque down on these real tight until I get all my screws in, because if you need to move it a little bit, it makes it just a little bit easier. And then when I get done, I go back and torque them a little bit more. Makes life just a little bit easier. And the last screw, and we'll have this all done. This is how we're doing this. Not too good at left-handed. Give them all a little bit better torque. Okay, so you got your screws in. You have your 24 pin connector in, your 4 pin connector in, your SATA drive connectors in, floppy drive connectors in, your IDE connectors are in. So that is how you put a power supply in and take it out. And just so you know, this right here is a capacitor. And we know this because of the cross top it has on it. So there are several of them in here. So that's how you do it, and I hope you learned from this video.